Look at that. That doesn't even have an electrode.
Yeah. All right.
I think we found some horses. We found some horsepowers here. Some killer wasps.
So welcome back to another episode on the Yamobile, the West Edition. So far, done the oil change, the filter change.
Has it improved the performance yet?
No, not really. No, not really. Topped up the JC5. It took a scary amount of oil,
which is good.
Which is a good thing. But that box is still sweet. But it doesn't rev really high. It feels a little bit doughy, not very crisp. So. Judging by the service history on the car, the plugs probably have never been changed. So what are we going to put in?
I'm going to chuck in a set of plugs. I've got a set of leads as well, because you're in there. The leads are 20 years old. They sandwich between the alloy manifold and the alloy head.
Right.
That's pretty much why you do them.
Yeah, okay.
So I've just brought the whole. This is a brand new set that I put on my race car.
It's off the road, as you may know.
So. But one of the features that I do is I get the split conduit and I lay a split conduit there, which you sometimes find that they do it. I think actually that might even be the genuine one, but I added additional split conduit further down the line just to give you a bit more insulation between rub points and contact, and then I've just left it on this coil pack. I know the coil pack's good. I know it's all set up, so it'll just make fit up 20 minutes easier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
excellent. Because I wondered why you had the whole coil pack.
Yeah, I just couldn't be bothered. And like you press them on, and it's all set up, ready for a 172.
And it's the same as a 182, obviously.
So yeah, we're just going to lift the manifold off, pop it on, away we go.
Okay. And it's a bit of a tricky job, you were saying. Or it's not like plugs on another car.
You're going to see why.
Yeah. All right.
Like
so
no, let's pop the hood and we'll just talk about it.
And we're not only doing this because it probably needs to be done, and we'll have a look at the plugs obviously when we pull them out. But
track containment to the event tomorrow.
Event tomorrow, Motorcana.
Yeah. So this all alloy component here has this nice plastic rubbish over the top of it. But reality is they put the plugs underneath this whole alloy component.
Right.
Alloy, it's the intake, so it gives you the intake runner length from here down into your motor. So it's very critical to the engineering of the whole motor.
So is there a gasket involved in this operation?
There is a gasket located there. Normally I put a special bit of goo, but I forgot to bring it. So we're just going to pull it off, make sure it's clean.
Cat food or something?
Just put it straight. Just put it. Doesn't need it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If you get all the bolts undone, and that's the tricky bit. There's a few extra bolts that hold the top end.
Yep.
We're going to get all those off. Pull the airbox off. I forgot to get the air filter.
No, that's all right.
We might pull it out.
I'll
call the boys at
Burson's.
See whether they've got one, because it's Albion, so there's a bit of Euro trash.
Yeah, I did try Repco last weekend. They had to get one out of Melbourne, and I said, oh, no, it's all good. I had enough of
Burson's. All right, I'll get on the blower of the Burson's now.
All right.
The thing, she's warmed up, so that's good.
Yep.
Really, with just a few screws and bits of plastic, and away we go.
Yep, excellent. And then hopefully it's just going to rev more crisp, more smooth.
We'll see once the plug comes out and we look at the leads. We'll know whether we're going somewhere. If we pull it all out and they're not original and they've been replaced, then there's a good chance that
are they the right ones? Okay.
These are the specific NGKs identified
for this motor.
NGK developed it for this motor.
Yeah.
The difference between most of them is a 1.1 plug gap, spark plug gap.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Where most of the other ones that your Bosch, your Nippon Denso specify, which are good plugs. I don't have a problem with them, but they only come at 1 mil. So you've either got to re-gap.
You can't gap them out though.
Well, you could gap them out, but if you want the right thing with the right heat range, with the right gap, designed to bolt straight in the hole, specified by Renault.
Yep.
this is the
So
product.
the bigger the gap, the bigger the spark.
Not necessarily, but yeah, it's going to give you a wider spark, but it's like the spark hug gap is secondary to everything else inside a spark plug.
Yep.
Yeah, the way they engineered the heat to flow through the plug, how hot it'll get. It's all these technical engineering aspects of the plug that have been specified and tuned. So when Renault ran this motor up, and they got these plugs and they tuned those plugs to this engine and ran it up and said, this is the plug for this engine. The way the temperature is going to be at the combustion chamber, the way the flow rate comes in, the way we're running leads, not coilovers.
Yep.
The whole characteristic of the motor has been tuned around this specific spark plug.
Yep.
That's why I use them. And everyone will tell you the same thing. Anyone who's ever put it on a dyno, if you go into the dyno, the first thing you do is you put a fresh set of NGK iridium.
Yeah, right.
That's what you do. You don't go to the dyno without it.
All right.
Don't leave home without it.
I'm quietly confident this is going to make a noticeable improvement.
I'm pretty confident.
From just driving it now for a couple of weeks and just seeing how it just not as, compared to the last one, just not as revvy.
All right, let's shut this down. I'll make a phone call.
Okay.
No, they didn't have any either.
Yeah, no.
I don't have one.
That's all right. You might even pull it and just tap it.
Yeah,
just
we'll
to
do
see
that.
the state of
See
it.
what it's like, yeah.
See if it's back to 2012.
Yeah. Might have got motivated. One little one. 7.
So we're missing a bolt there, so someone's had this off before. What have they done? Don't know.
Still fairly clean.
Yeah, I've got some degrees. Did you want me to hit it with that or afterwards?
Nah, we'll do it once we get it off. Undo that. Undo that. Let's get it looks really easy. That's it. Yeah, look at that.
What are we looking at? Oil?
Just the amount of blow by that was being sucked through the motor.
Yeah, right.
The first thing
So that's going to foul the plugs, isn't it? You got blow by.
Yeah. Foul plugs. So we need to carefully remove a few bits and pieces. That.
Do we want any upper cylinder head cleaner?
Not really, because the cylinder heads, the ports are it's a port ejected motor, so it's cleaning. They're washing the back of the valves.
Okay. Yep.
Like all we're going to have is a bit of muck inside there.
Yep.
All right, we've got that disconnected. Disconnect this one. These, because it's all pristine. EGR purge, I think is what that one is. This is where the challenge is. It's the bloody bastards built that so tight to that. You can't always get the socket around it. I don't know what.
You need like a thin walled socket or something.
You just need a really slim 10mm, but I've got my backups here.
What about your like your boomerang spanners?
No, you know what? You just want a thin wall. I've seen people struggling with them, and I actually don't use them. What does that say? 10 or 11? 11, 10. Okay, here's what might work. So yeah, getting the coil pack out is the most difficult job I've ever come across. And I've done it before. So you can get that one. So I've got the back one.
Yeah.
But down here
at the front there.
Yeah, it's just a nightmare. And I've seen people sell whole manifolds because they couldn't get things off.
Well, begs the question, do we not change it? Do we leave it in there and just take the leads?
Yeah, we could do that, but I just find them irritating.
It's probably just one less.
Let me just try
one less.
more socket that I've got. Here we go. No, that'll be too thick. We've got a Milwaukee, and we've got a snap-on. I'm a Milwaukeeaner, sorry.
So, how come you never had this problem with taking the other one off? Was it already off, I suppose, because you got the head off already? The one you're home?
The manifold I got sold. Well, basically what I do is I change those bolts to cap bolts.
Ah, right, okay.
So a little Allen key, or I put something else in because I don't know what they did, or whether the coil pack expands and swells out and that causes the problem. So when it was built, the plastic and everything was just a little bit smaller and you could get your socket on there. But I reckon just...
Let's just leave it.
Well, it means that we're going to disturb all these.
Yeah, so what's the...
So, well, the alternative is we reuse your leads and just put the plugs in. The leads look okay. We'll have a look when we get down. We can come back to that once it's out. But I'm just saying that is the number one challenge when you're going to take this off, is to try to undo those 10 mils, which would seem like a very simple and easy thing to do.
And you think disturbing those plugs or those leads?
Yeah, it's often when you disturb a lead,
that's where the damage occurs.
Yeah, it doesn't ever go back on again.
Yeah.
I've got one more option, which I don't think we've got even. Have you got a little grinder here? Angle grinder?
We've got files. There you go, is that on?
No, it's not. It's almost on, but it's not. And what I need to do is just get that, put that in the grinder, and just turn the whole thing down. It needs an ultra thin wall. That's.
Let me get my cheapo tools, mate. What size is it?
10 mil.
10?
Classic 10.
Classic 10. Stand by my cheap Chinese tools, mate. They'll have thin walls for sure.
Use my cheap Chinese 10.
A couple of options.
Okay, that's the. This one 10 mil is the other 10 mil.
Try that.
That's too bulky.
Try that one.
No.
Still too bulky.
Still too bulky, and I just can't answer the question why. I just think.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Who knows? I've deleted that as an option on any of my cars. There is no more of those 10 mil bolts. So. But we don't want to modify this one.
I've got one.
Anyway, we'll push on. We've got the backup here if we have a problem. What I need right now is pick. This is the special car, mate. Don't be using junk on it. They're using strictly snap-on.
Snap-on and Milwaukee.
That's it. Now what I'll show you when we lift this up, there's another thing underneath this whole assembly that's the part of the piece of the recirc valve, so it has to be sealed down as well, so you have to check that O-ring. And generally it'll be alright, but I'm just going to guide you as we go. That's it. We'll edit this out if I get it wrong. It all just sits on there more or less. It's not like some where they have to have a bracket to support the back end of the plenum.
Yeah. Because
it actually sits over. Now this is part of the reason why guys often end up changing the intake when they're doing the turbo conversion, because you've got this coil pack sitting where you'd want to put on above your exhaust.
Yeah.
At least this way we can show you what a 182 Cup exhaust system looks like. You'll be able to see the extractors. I can compare them to the 172. So, to my knowledge, without having worked on many 182s, in fact this would be my first one, Renault's 182 was an engine. It was really just a, in my opinion, a marketing exercise to sell more cars, because you've built the 172. So what do you need? You need more numbers, don't you?
Yeah.
182.
You've got to sell a new model, it's got to be better than the last
one. So they sold this with 182 horsepower. Then they sold the Clio 3s with 197.
Yeah. And
the Clio 3 with a 200 horsepower. That's how they sold them.
Yeah.
Now, they had, every time it was still using the F4R motor. They doubled the number of dephasers.
Yep.
Okay, then they changed the intake manifold, went to coil packs.
Yeah,
so that's
right.
sort of what they did. So what they've done, to my knowledge, I'm sure there's someone who's way more knowledgeable than me, they basically reflashed the ECU to, I don't believe they changed the camshafts. They have changed the ports, I've been told by other guys. They changed the exhaust extractor.
Yep.
So the head of the extractors are different, so they run a different primary collection.
On 3. On the Clio, 3?
No, on this model.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, so between the 172, so what a lot of guys used to do, I was talking to Fred Hopkins, and he reckons that back in the day, when these first came out, people were like running around trying to pull every set of extractors off every crashed 182 and shove them onto their 172s.
Yep.
It was like the hot up mod.
Yeah,
you know?
yep.
So they'd want the extractors, but the exhaust system they couldn't use. So anyway, so they've done a bit of this exhaust tweaking. Then they would have shifted the RPM. I don't believe they changed the camshafts, but I do believe the ports are smaller. So they've just really shifted that power up the RPM range.
And that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, that's how it does feel to me, and having driven it once, but that's not going to make it doughy at the off the line. So let me just get a couple more clips off here. There we go, it's already dropped off. We've got that one there, which goes down to that screw thing. Let me get my good screw pliers. Let's give that a wiggle. And a pop. Now, let's see what we get. Oh, there's one more, sorry.
Like that.
Now this one can go one of two ways. It should come off the manifold, or sometimes that plastic pops out. Give it a wiggle. Now, do you want to know my wiggle? Do you want to know my wiggle trick?
There's a clip on it.
Yeah, no, but it's a permy clip.
Right.
I can undo them, but I didn't bring that tool. But
what's your wiggle technique?
wiggle technique is you don't want to crush it.
Yep.
You just want to make it shift and break the bond. But it's still not going to come off. Yep, that is definitely on there. Alright, we might just flip it up and leave it on there for now.
Yep.
Because I don't want to break them.
No, when you go on to the track tomorrow.
Let's try my pry bar.
It's all good, mate. It's
Yeah, no, the other thing is this.
Renault.
On a lot of them, you pull on them and they just pop out of that bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess, look, when you go on the track tomorrow.
Two more little wiggles. I've got plenty of spare ones at home. It's definitely not bonded, so really all it's holding it. No, it's just refusing to budge. There's a bulge over it, right? So it's designed to stay on there. Let's just try to get it off without
disturbing that one.
Okay, so we lift this up.
There you go.
Turn it back. Okay, and I'll sit that like that.
Yep.
So this is your PCV, and that's that little seal. So don't lose that.
Yep.
It lives in its little house there.
Yep.
Okay, and there's a little tiny pinhole just there.
Oh, yep.
So we might hit some brake clean on that. Have you got any brake clean?
Got degreaser.
Look at this. Now look down in these ports, man.
Yeah.
See the build-up of the oil on the back?
Yep.
That's the gasket, so we'll be careful with that.
So that's what happens when you don't change your oil.
That's what happens when you don't change your oil.
This that looks pretty disgusting.
Yeah, and that's what I was expecting. There's a little bit up in there too.
Yep.
So this bit of carby cleaner, brake cleaner,
yep,
that will clean this up.
All right, let me see what I got. Yeah, let's start with that. That's a degreaser. I'll go into the shed, see what sort of brake cleaner I've got.
Okay, so what I want to point out is the problem Okay, so the engineers obviously went, this beautiful big long tuned length intake runner is going to give us the torque we want.
Yep.
That's why we don't have coil packs, because they had to build this. It's always a compromise. So the compromise, do we want coil packs for more power? And they were fitting coil packs to the other cars.
Yeah.
Like Woody's car's got coil packs, you know. But they said, no, we really want these tuned length intake runners. So they've run the thing. But see these marks here?
Yep.
And there, well, that's these leads, and that's the insulation the factory lead has. But when you buy leads, it doesn't. Now, a lot of people have forgotten that leads don't like to touch stuff, because nobody sees leads anymore. You know, like you don't see a lead. You work on 100 motors, you don't see a lead. This engine was probably the last one Renault built with leads. Yeah. I'm sure someone will tell me there's another one.
So they're a pretty specialised lead, so you're not going to get those down at Repco.
Yeah, you could get them at Repco, but yeah, you're right, they are a bit specialised, so I'd say.
So they're probably the original.
Oh, they are original. That insulation, so that's the cover they put over the rubber lead.
Yep.
It hasn't got any contamination on it.
Yep.
Okay. So these haven't swelled up. There's a bit of oil here, and I don't know whether that's coming out of this, which is your Varnos, or your thing. I think it's just might have been a loose cap. Sometimes people don't put their caps back on properly.
Or just spillage when you're filling it up.
Spilling when they're filling, but that looks more like a blow-by type of one.
Right.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little hit, wash that out, and then you can have a look at that later. It's going down there. Like, there's a lot of oil mist everywhere. This thing needs to have an oil. It needs to have a brake fluid flush next before it goes onto the track, I can tell you that.
You're right for Motor Carter?
Yeah, you're right for Motor Carter, mate. I won't get them that hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that a clean now, right? And then you can check this in a couple of weeks' time.
To see if it's come back.
See if you've got oil and dust building up. But there's not a lot there, considering the car hasn't been looked at properly.
Yeah. And
it does originate up there. See, it's underneath the filler cap. So just wash that away. So what I've done is I've sprayed a bit down in the ports here. So what we're going to do once we get these spark plugs out, we're just going to turn the motor over. Yep. Blow a bit of stuff up. Might make a mess. Now this gasket's quite hard, but we'll put that back in. A little tiny hole there. Yeah. As long as the leak doesn't go back into your intake. And again, this is another thing. When guys go building big horsepower motors, taking these manifolds off, the first thing you have to do is fix this. So then they end up having to re-engineer this top PVC plate. Yeah, yeah. So you get your proper crankcase vent. So I'm just going to hit that.
So this stage where I can we'll leave the leads, just do the plugs?
Just do the plugs at this stage. Right. Well, let's just see. If the leads go to shit, we've got a lead problem. I'll put a set of leads on the next order. Maybe get the compressed air ready, mate.
Compressed air?
Compressed air? Yeah, yeah. Cool. All right. So that's pretty much really quality rag we're using today. Alright, now we're going to pull these plugs out, these leads off first.
See if they survive.
Yep.
Okay.
One, the video.
Yep.
Two. You can see a bit of corrosion, that's always nice. That means you don't have oil in there. 3. More corrosion.
More corrosion.
Yep.
So not tongue-in-cheek corrosion. You're saying it's actually good because if you had oil, you wouldn't have that.
You wouldn't have it. Yeah. You'd have it if you have a leak on the timing cover. It's not ideal. We'll blow whatever's in there out. This is that. Pop that one. Okay. So now, no, we're still connected. That's right. Okay. So that's got to stay there. We could do the leads if we need to, but let's just hold that like that.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're down, we can see our plugs. Ooh, my goodness. What is that?
Well, at least there's 4 of them.
Yeah, well, have a look down that one.
So you can see it gets a bit of light down there. Oh, yep. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Never seen
Interesting.
that before.
No. All right.
Alright, well let's fire up the air compressor,
Yep.
blow it out. Now before we do that, you haven't got any masking tape, do you?
I do indeed.
Well, let's not do
Let's
a
do-
Harley. Let's seal off that cover
Yeah.
so things don't drop into our motor.
Exactly. Yep.
Right, stand clear, let's see what comes out of this thing. Alright, let's do the moment of truth.
Yeah, let's have a look at these plugs.
Yeah, let's go with this crusty one first.
Would they have dates on them from the
No,
manufacturer?
they typically, I don't know how to read them if they do. I'm sure they do have some system on there.
Yep.
So we've got an old
That's-
corroded, look at that, up the
that's
even up
terrible.
the shaft. Yeah, that's horrendous. Then you look at the electrode. It is clean. Looks like it's been
So there's
running.
no oil on it.
It looks like they've been running the bloody ethanol. Look at that. That doesn't even have an electrode.
Yep. All right.
I think we found some horses. We found some horsepowers here. Some killer wasps. We found the missing killer wasps.
If you've been enjoying the Mighty Car Mods French car thing, if you like this, you probably like that. And we did send the guys a video during the week challenging them to a race, but they've obviously got far more. Look at that one.
There's no electrode on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let me just give this a blast.
They have better things to do.
They don't want to be beaten. Their sponsors would hate to see them get beaten by
Yeah,
a
I
stock
think they-
standard 182.
I think they're probably just too busy.
Yeah, well, we'll call those munted.
Yeah, they are.
Gonskis.
Gonski.
Alright, so what we're going to do
Alright.
now is you're going to crank this motor over,
Yep.
just because I sprayed a bit of that
Yep.
degreaser down those intake ports. And just keep the one that's most legible, the rest can go in the bin. Give it a few more, mate. No, crank. Keep going. Okay, that's good. Alright, so now what we've done is, and if anyone was horrified at spraying degreaser down the intake port, that's how you get rid of it. So if you're doing a full clean out
Yep.
on your backs of your ports and down there, just pour it down, crank it over.
Out
You
she
know,
comes.
Like if I had a can of upper cylinder cleaner,
Yep.
I really wanted to get carried away and try and release some of the carbon that might be around the rings, trying to find some horsepower, maybe it's carboned up. I just drench those pistons in
Yeah.
the upper cylinder clean, leave it overnight, turn it over a couple of times, put it all back together, run it up, dump your oil, job done. I didn't bring my torque bloody gauge either.
I got a torque wrench. Do you need a
Have
torque
you?
wrench? Yep.
It doesn't go down to 22, that's all. It's my micro torque. I'll have to use my arm torque. That's heaps. Next one. How many good highway runs have you given this since you got it back? Or since you got it? Haven't done like a Gold Coast yet, have you?
No, I've done a few gateway runs.
Yeah, just gateway. Haven't done a long haul.
No.
So that'll be the real. Once you get on the old
Few-
long haul, start working this old crud fuel through it.
Yeah.
Because you said it was using a lot of fuel, weren't
Yeah, definitely using more than the 172 used,
you? Yeah.
which is a little bit surprising because that thing would run on vapors.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look, we could have another issue that we need to look into. It
Yeah.
could be a knock sensor issue.
Yeah, look, it runs
So-
fine. I'm just
No,
just
but
about that
if
comparison.
you get a faulty knock sensor,
yeah,
right, it'll retard your
The
ignition.
timing, yeah,
kick
right.
your timing back so you don't get the zoom at the top end.
Yep.
It'll also, you'll end up using more fuel and running the engine a bit hotter. So
Is that a common thing for these though?
Well, it's got a knock sensor. Any car with a knock sensor.
And is that something that would show up on the diag device?
Yeah. All right. So next stage, we're going to reuse these leads for now.
I reckon if they don't, if they look intact.
If they look intact, you know, it's done low Ks. We're not chasing a misfire. We're chasing a loss of power.
Yep.
So.
Or just a slowness to rev, just not as crisp, as you say.
It should be, yeah. Sean got his cat.
Oh, he got a cat, did he?
Yeah, got a kitten.
There you go.
Now that's.
So where's that, at your place?
Look at this. Even these heads, look, they've got the coil pack. I didn't realise, but see show everyone this. They're already drilled and tapped to receive the coil pack.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, they use that bolt hole there for the phaser solenoid, but this one,
that's, yeah.
and that one, they're all already drilled and tapped to accommodate the thing. The problem is the height, and the plug fouls.
Yeah.
So obviously they didn't want to be rebuilding top covers specifically for this, so everybody gets the same top cover for the motor. All right, let's pop this back down. Oh, stop dropping, you bastard.
Now where's that O-ring?
It's right here in the bucket.
Yep.
Just in case this has got a little bit
Bit of a crack in it.
Bit crust, got a bit crusty and shrunk back a bit over its life. Listen. Because it did drop out, so just pack that in there. Now we can drop this back down. Yep.
Take off.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, that one.
Yeah, seems fairly well intact.
Yep. And there's a little dowel from there. Lines up. Look at this. Seal this.
Yep.
That's another job. Get some of the conduit.
Yeah, yep. Just
and
cooks off, eh?
Just cooks off, like on a Volvo. That one on there. And settling in nice. So you've got a pin there that locates it. Down there, little dowel.
Okay.
So I always do an outside one. And they're all the same, these. And then these buggers at the back, do them next before you get carried away with your front ones, because of that might need to just come across a tiny fraction. Here's your other back one. So yeah, it's basically the four extremities on your manifold. That much length. You don't need a breaker bar to install these and tighten them. This has got a gasket under it, so the gasket will retain it. Don't need anything else. Click. Okay. My plug here for my intake, for my throttle body. Again, oh no, that's my bloody hell. That's the wrong thing. There you go. So that's the.
Oh, yep.
Yep, which probably should come under here. And that little clip there goes into that spot there, like that, which wasn't collected before. And that, you just push that down on there.
Yep.
Over the back, we didn't disconnect that one because it was being painful.
Now what is this?
Yeah, this
guy goes somewhere?
Yeah, that goes. That one lives on there, like such.
And that's holding the cover down, is it?
That holds.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So clip him there. Clip him there. And there. And then what I should have done first, before I clipped him. Clip him again, is pop him back on. Clip. Clip. So that's your.
Yeah, they all seem like good connections.
Yep, they are. It's pretty good. Like I think mine was a bit. Yeah, this here. I've heard of guys in the turbo ones building little special covers. So, you know, that could be part of your problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Just an air leak there.
It does look a bit gammy, doesn't it?
It does.
Right.
And you couldn't see that with that cover on.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to say is maybe we leave the cover off.
Yep.
For a few days.
Yep.
Don't lose it.
No,
Don't lose the bolts.
I've still got the oil tray cover off. So yeah.
This was the so that's your recirc from that little pipe that I was showing you. So there you can see the oil's come in. Side. That's the valve.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's pop this airbox.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
No.
Don't want to look at it.
Don't look at it.
All right.
I really don't. I want to be. Look, if we're going to look at it, we'll look at it through the hole. And it looks good on the top side. Actually, it actually looks good on the top side. Have a look for yourself. So, what we're saying is that there's not soaked in oil or anything like that. It's not soaked in oil. It's not got a hole in it. It doesn't look like it's been in and out.
There's no birds in there.
It hasn't got mechanics' hands all over it.
Yeah.
So it'll be fine. But yeah, do replace it. It's made of paper, so it doesn't last forever. Always one, isn't there? Alright, turn it off and then turn it on again. So all that degreasing I did was put the oil and the degreaser onto the extractors.
Yeah.
So no stress here, people. Nothing to worry about.
That's normal smoke.
That's normal smoke. Yep, that's got the mumbo.
Yeah, that's now.
That's Renault power there, and that's with us and aircon on.
Yeah, definitely just more responsive.
Yeah, just cleaned it up. Well, we're calling that.
Calling that.
Are we in? Second-hand plugs? Tick.
Tick.
Lucky I blew my engine up, otherwise I wouldn't have had them lying around.
We would like to challenge you against your Peugeot 206 with free modifications against our Clio 182 factory 2005 unmodified completely factory car. Monsieur Luc, our tame race driver. That's his pacifier he's holding, and that cat, I don't know him at all. Timmy, get down. This is German Meow. And what are you doing?
German Meow.
He's a German Meow. He's all about, he's a Mustang lover. Yeah, boy. Alright. So, in summary. Okay, so you guys, Peugeot 206, Clio 182 Cup. Unmodified factory.
As it left the factory.
Against 206 open mods.
Open mods.
Whatever you want. Nitrous,
as
turbo,
car mods
K-swap,
as much
LS swap.
As much as your
20B
sponsors can
swap.
throw at it.
Yep.
Throw at it.
Alright. One hot lap. We'll go out the French Car Club, we'll go out the Renault Club. one of
Get
these
up
iconic
here.
Queensland tracks. Choice of two.
Your
It's
choice.
really, yeah.
I'm the driver, and I'm nobody.
I think it's going to be, you know.
On the day, it was made in France, like ours.
Peugeot versus Clio.
Clio. I don't know.
The showdown.
You know, every time I tell these guys every time I might be a mechanic now, but when I first got my Clio, what did it come with? My hairdresser's apprenticeship.
That's an honest trade. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's right.
It's
It is
nothing
not
wrong
a
with that.
straight. 100% a factory car, factory airbox, check.
Yeah.
Factory gearbox, factory engine, factory tune, factory you name it.
Yeah.
$3,500 car. We didn't even mention that.
$3,500 bucks.
$3,500 car. We bought it for $3,500. Yeah, bring a spare battery, bring a spare key. And I hope you fuel fill it. Hope you can fill up the fuel.
And a car trailer.
Yeah, bring a car trail. Always bring a car trail. Doesn't matter about the number plates.
Just went out to the rallycross track a few weeks ago, and someone turned up with a Peugeot,
On a
one
car
of
trail?
the cabriolet hardtops. You know,
Yeah.
the two doors, and it was on a flat tray. Turned up on a flat tray. It looked like a new car.
No.
And I said to people, that guy knows what he's doing.
That's it.
All right, thanks guys.